welcome home. I'm Debbie with Vacation Club Loans, and I'm sitting here with Kaity Kimball. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about the real basics of Dinsey Vacation Club. One of my brokers that I work with, I do timeshare financing, DVC resale experts, they were getting a lot of questions for new buyers. So not everyone within the Dinsey Vacation Club world has owned for 20 years or has been to all the resorts, and they're like true experts. A lot of people are learning about it and interested in buying, but it is a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about the basics. What is it? How do you get involved? How does it work? How can you finance it? And we're just going to, kind of like a little Q&A 101.
And as somebody that is relatively new, when I initially started, working with you and we were going to places and like talking to some of these brokers and having conversations, there was probably about 10 times that I was like, so what is this? How does it work? I don't understand, because it's not a timeshare. Like, it is not what I have in my mind as a timeshare. Like, you can go to this condo 1 week out of the year. Other than that, that's it. That's not what it is. And so it was really difficult for me to understand, because I knew maybe one other family, like friend of a friend, that had DVC, but I never understood what it was. And so it was really difficult. Like, if you're coming from nothing, and a lot of people either are buying more points or like their grandparents had it, and so they kind of know, but a lot of people are brand new, and it's kind of like when you step into it, I felt like I was really behind. Like, there's something wrong with me because I didn't, I was like, there has to be something I'm missing. Right. I don't understand. So I'm really happy that we're doing this, because I really wish that I had this when I'm like walking around trying to keep up and like create content for something that I was like, is this right? Is that true? Like, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah. Because it isn't the grandparents' timeshare. So Dinsey Vacation Club is a timeshare, but it's not the old format where you would buy 1 week at one resort and you would go there forever with your family. You are able to buy points, and the point system is so much more flexible.
Yeah.
So DVC, they have 17 properties now in their portfolio.
I think it's 18 now.
Is it 18 now?
Hold on, let me check my blog. So let's see. Blah, blah,
well, they're
blah,
growing.
Blah.
So
yeah,
if they have 17 now, they'll eventually have 18.
I think it's 18, because there's 14 here in Florida, and then there's 2 in California, 1 in Hawaii, 1 in Hilton Head. So it's 18.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so now it's 18.
18.
And then we'll have to update it and put 19 like in 2 years.
Yeah, right? Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So what you do is Dinsey Vacation Club, they have deluxe resorts. I think all of them are themed after something. And then you can buy points. And with those points, you can literally book stays based on availability and how many points you have. So let's say there is a 1-bedroom unit in Florida. We'll just use that as an example. The point value might be a little less or a little higher based on seasonality, especially on holidays, Christmas, Memorial Day, 4th of July weekends. The point value is probably going to be a little bit higher because of its higher demand. And then off season in Florida, off season might be September. It would be less points, or a Saturday might be a little more points than a Wednesday. So you take your points and you get a certain allotment every single year. If I buy 100 points, I have that for the year, and I can use it to book in my portfolio of DVC.
And one way that like really helped me understand it was like the Weight Watchers mentality of it. So like with Weight Watchers, if you're, looking to lose a certain amount of pounds, you get a certain amount of points each day, whereas this is like DVC is each year. But so each day you have a certain amount of points, and you can, eat like really good and have a lot more food, because like better foods or less points. Or you can just go crazy and eat a chocolate cake in the morning, but you just spent all of your points. So for me, the way that I'm like, okay, so one resort or one specific size room at a given resort could start at 16 points a night. And so if I have 100 points, I can stay there for multiple nights. Or if I have 150 points a year and I want to spend one night at the bungalows in Polynesian for 126 points, I could do that. But it's only one night, whereas I could have gotten multiple nights at, like a smaller at like Old Key West. So like different resorts and different room sizes will be different amounts of points. So some people will be like, well, how many points can I get? It's like, well, where do you want to stay? Because it's like, oh, if you're just going to stay at the resorts that are 16 points a night, or the only reason I'm saying that is because I saw one the other day. It was like starts at 16 points. Then you might not need that many. But if you're someone that wants to spend a week in the bungalows every year, you're going to have to get, a lot more points. So that made it easier for me to understand. So
absolutely correct. Yeah. And your point system, there's a term on the street. It's called add-on-itis.
Yeah.
And it is actually a fact, because once you start staying at the deluxe properties, there are a lot of perks that you get as a DVC owner. And whether you bought direct or you bought resale, there are perks for everybody. Not all the perks transfer to the resale market, but some of the perks do. And if you're staying at a DVC property, you can do the moonlight extra hours, and you can, there's little benefits to it. And as a huge Disney fan, you love those benefits and you love those perks. And so you love the resorts because they're amazing. You want to always stay like, I'm a borrower, excuse me. Sorry. I'm a borrower, so I like to borrow from my future year. I want more points, so I'm always borrowing from the future. So you end up saying, you know what? I keep borrowing. I need to add on 50 points, or I need to add on 100 points because you always want more.
Now that we know how it works, let's talk about how you can buy DVC. So you are the financer of DVC purchases. So
Correct.
Both ways how you can buy it.
Well, of
so
course you can pay cash.
Well, yeah, always. Yeah.
But we don't want you to pay cash.
Yeah.
So with Disney Vacation Club, so for example, you've done your research, you understand how the point system works. And what I would recommend to someone is think about your travel habits. Like, what is your end game to kind of put your toe in the water? How many points do you think you're going to want, to get your family to have a vacation?
Yeah, like, is it just you and your wife, and then you'll only need a studio or a one bedroom? Or is it you and your 9 kids, and you're going to need like a 3-bedroom?
Right, absolutely. So think about your travel habits. And this is all like public information. You could go to DVC Resale Experts. You could look at their website. You could look at a points chart, and you could say, okay, I know I'm going to travel in July because my kids are out of school. I know I'm going to want to stay at least 4 nights. So I'm going to start with 80, 75 points, or maybe 150.
I think you said some people will even start with 50 sometimes, just to kind of like dip their toe in.
Yeah, there are contracts for 25 points.
Oh, really?
As small as that.
Oh, okay.
They're very, they go super fast, because that
people want to like use that as an add-on to their current points.
That's a great add-on. And so the 25 points aren't as common. I would always recommend, like start with the 100 points. That way you can actually, go when you want to go. And then you need to also look at your home resort. That is a big thing also, because the home resort that is where you're deeded. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't go to, if you purchase at, I'm going to say Saratoga, we'll just use that as an example. If I purchase at Saratoga, I can still go to the other legacy properties, not the ones that, the 3 recent ones that they've added to the DVC portfolio. Those are on a different kind of exclusion platform.
Okay.
It's the legacy properties. So those legacy properties, let's say I own at Saratoga. So that's my home resort because that's where my deed is. So at 11 months prior to check-in, I can book my room at Saratoga. So I get first dibs.
Yeah.
And
You
everybody
can like plan way far out.
Yeah. For people that like, if you want to go at Christmas time, you really have to plan that because it is based on availability.
Peak time.
Yeah, peak time.
Well, and that's like before we went to Vero, I was looking through stuff, and one of their biggest things that when they really fill up is sometime, I think it's July, for the turtle like hatching kind of season. And so a lot of places were saying like, if that's something that's really, really important to you, then you should have your home resort be Vero, because you can still go and stay like on Walt Disney World property. But if it's something that every year we want to see the baby turtles make their way to the ocean, that fills up almost immediately. So having that as your home thing, you can book it literally almost a year in advance.
Yeah,
so
you
11
get
months.
first dibs.
Yeah.
So that 11-month window might be super important to you. But then at the 7-month window, all of the resorts open up to you. But, just kind of keep in mind, so between 8, 9, 10, 11 months, those people were able to book before you. So they got first dibs.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to find anything. I personally, I'm a last minute planner. I have points and I just go into the DVC, the website, and I look to see what's available because I love so many of the properties. I love going to Poly, and I like Saratoga, and I love Animal Kingdom. I mean, I'm very flexible and very fluid with where I'm going to stay because there's none that I don't like.
Yeah.
But if you are the kind of person, I have a friend of mine, he loves the Villas of Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
And he wants to only stay at the Villas of Grand Floridian. And he will say to me all the time, he's like, oh, I'm going to go next weekend and I can never find anything. And I'm like, yeah, because you have to kind of plan it.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, my suggestion is you buy at the Villas of Grand Floridian. Like, because that's really the only place that he prefers. And that's fine, but that's where the home resort comes into play. So speaking of home resort, we really should talk about the 3 properties that do have that exclusion.
Well, first I wanted to talk about like how, and we will get down to like the best resorts for you. That was like our recap, like at the end, but like how you buy DVC, where you would go to buy them. So there's a choice to be direct or resale. So let's talk about, because once you've looked at your family habits, the resort you love, so if you know how many are going to be in your party, how long you want to stay, and what resort you want to stay at, then you'll get a better idea of how many points you need. Because if you want to stay, like we said, in the bungalows for a week every year, that's going to be a good chunk of points. And so now you have an idea of, okay, I need to get 600 points. I need 600 points, whatever. So let's talk about the options that new people have to come in and purchase that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can purchase direct through Disney, or you can purchase from resale market. So let's talk about those two differences.
Absolutely. So the secondary market, obviously Disney Vacation Club will happily, sell you points directly from them. Of course, that is what they do. They offer their own financing at DVC Direct. I have a frog in my throat. So DVC Direct offers financing. Of course, we do too. I don't do a whole lot of direct contracts because Disney's already there offering it. But, once in a blue moon, I do. Somebody is an existing customer of mine. They're going to buy direct and they just want to keep their loans in the same place.
Yeah.
It's potato, no problem. That's, totally fine. But on the, on the secondary market, now you have an individual who bought originally through DVC, and their life has changed. Their family dynamics has changed. They're not going to the resorts anymore for whatever reason. They want to sell. So you would go to a real estate broker that specializes in DVC, and they have listings, but they're private sales. It's like these are previous owners that are now ready to leave the Disney Vacation Club, or maybe they wanted to change home resorts. Maybe they said, I'm going to, sell this contract and go buy 2 other ones. Or, there's a lot of different scenarios. So then you could say, okay, this is what's available. and I want to buy this 100 points at the home resort, and I'm going to put 10% down, and I'm going to finance 90% through Vacation Club loans, and you get a 10-year loan, and of course you can pay it off faster. There's all those little nooks and crannies, about the financing side, but to find what you want, you just go to the website and you can see the listings that are available. Similar to purchasing a house.
Yeah.
Like you would go on Zillow and look
yeah.
at listings. You would go to their website and you look at listings, and they change all the time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's
really hot. Yeah.
It's a fast moving market, especially right now, because the prices are very low.
On the resale market.
On the resale market, we're really having a buyer's opportunity right now.
Yeah.
So they're going super fast.
Well, and one thing is just like the biggest reason that people would choose resale over direct is the price difference. And you and I were talking like a week or so ago about, because you had financed direct Alani points in Hawaii, and then you also financed
lots and lots
like resale. Yeah. So I believe the direct was like 196.
That was the average.
Yeah. Don't yell at me. It was a while ago. It was in one of our older podcast episodes. But
no, it was exactly 196.
Yeah,
yes.
196 for direct, and then the resale 94. 84, 96. It was under $100.
It was,
but it ranged between
53% savings.
Yeah, so it ranged between like 100, like under 100, and then there were some, because it varies, so it's not like you're not locked into this price, but where it would be like 96, and then sometimes you'll see like 108, but the price difference is staggering to where, there are some, and we do mention in the blog, if you're wanting more details on stuff, we're actually posting this episode on one of our blogs that goes through everything, shows photos, has links, all of that. But in the blog, during my like nerd research, I was looking at it, and there is an option. If you do buy direct, you do get this perk of being able to, I want to use my points towards a Disney cruise, which sounds awesome. Like when you first told me that, I was like, why would anybody buy resale? And then you're like, slow down. But the exchange rate from like your points towards the cruise ends up not being very favorable. So when you're saving like 40% on a purchase that could be, like $20,000, you're saving thousands of dollars when you're buying resale. You could like buy multiple Disney cruises. Yeah. So initially like I was like, why would anyone do this? This doesn't make any sense. And then you're like, and then I'm like, okay. Yeah, no, I would just buy a cruise. Yeah, you're right. So you're saving thousands of dollars. And some people do, like, they're very completionist in a way to where they're like, I want to buy through DVC. I want the big welcome packet. I want the welcome merch. I want all of these other perks to make sure I don't miss out on everything. And that's great. And that's kind of the beauty of DVC, though. You can stay at the resort you want. You can buy it the way you want. You can, do whatever. But if you're somebody that likes money, I would personally suggest purchasing resale.
Right.
Yeah. Or even some people, like you were saying, they buy direct and then they add on with resale.
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
That's a very common thing. So with Disney Direct, I believe the current number, because it does keep going up, I believe the current number is you have to have 175 points direct to get all the perks, meaning you can go to the brand new resort that they just built out in California, or the brand new cabins that they just converted over at Fort Wilderness. So the restriction on that is if you buy resale and you buy resale at the legacy 14 properties, you can only go within those 14 properties. Now, someone might think, well, I don't want to be restricted to 14 properties. And that's fine if that's what they think. Me personally, that's awesome because those 14 properties are amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
I can still go to Hawaii and Hilton Head and Vero Beach. There's plenty of properties in Orlando. So that doesn't seem like a restriction to me. But if I'm that one DVC owner where I really want to go to the cabins or I really want to go to Riviera, then that's where it may come into play.
Yeah.
So if you really want to go to Riviera, you should buy at Riviera. But if you buy on the resale market, that is your home resort, and that is the only resort you can use your points at.
Yeah, so that's another thing with the restrictions. So if, you were to purchase Riviera points on resale, because initially when somebody buys direct through Riviera, they can still go anywhere.
All of them.
But if you were to buy Riviera points through resale, you would be limited to only Riviera unless you used some kind of transfer thing to use a different timeshare that's not connected to Disney, right?
If you go through an exchange.
Like there's no way to do that.
Yeah,
but
you can still do exchanges, which is...
It's just a little more involved, a little more detailed, but it doesn't mean that you can go to Poly. You'll be going to like Ireland or something. Yeah.
You're going to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah. And we recently went to Riviera and it is fantastic, beautiful, amazing. Food's great. So it's not like you're slumming it at Riviera, but yeah. And it's all... That's what's kind of crazy. Like as I was writing this and as I was asking questions about everybody, there is no clear answer. Like we're going to try to give you all the options. Like you can do this, but you don't get this, and you can do that, and it might not be a problem. So a lot of the times, like what might be a con for someone, be like, oh, well, you can't stay anywhere but Riviera, could be similar to like your friend that'd be like, I only want to stay at Riviera. So what do I care? So
exactly.
That's what I want. I want to save 40% and never go anywhere else. And I love that,
Yeah. You're going to save huge at Riviera, because of that new restriction that DVC has, created, but that's a bigger savings.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like you said, Riviera is wonderful and amazing. The amenities, it is spot on. It is absolutely fantastic. It's on the Skyliner. It's just a really, really great property. So if I owned at Riviera, I would be happy.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
totally
okay, this is great.
Like, okay.
That's, but I enjoyed that really big savings. As I think with the Riviera, it was like 58%.
Yeah, it was a huge savings.
I would just like to say the resale market, and I am not a licensed real estate agent, so I cannot give you advice of what you should pay. I get asked that a lot, but I can say the prices do differ a little bit because of the points.
Yeah.
So,
it's very, just again, like buying a house.
Yeah.
So you can't say, oh, a 2-bedroom house costs $300,000. Be like, oh, well, this one costs this one costs that. This one is over here and that's better. So it costs that. So it's very much like that. It's not a flat rate. And that took a lot for me to like wrap my head around. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Why is this one more expensive? Because it's over there.
Yeah. And it does matter about how many points are available immediately. So what I mean by that is, we're physically sitting in 2024. So personally, I'm selling a Riviera contract right now, and it has 200. I'm not trying to like push my particular listing.
Well,
it'll be sold by the time you see this.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So my particular Riviera contract, I have 2024 points sitting there available. So whenever that lucky buyer gets it, they're going to be able to book for 2024.
I did hear that some people, I forget who it was, but we were at dinner and somebody said, yeah, it's kind of frustrating because I found a great plan, but the points don't start until 2025. So why would I buy that now?
Right.
And so because like you were saying, people can, oh yeah.
You get a discount.
Probably, yeah. He didn't say how much it was per point, but I was like, oh, that is kind of frustrating. Because you're like, oh, I finally want to dive in. And you'll see on the listings, it will literally show you 2024, here's how many points, 2025, here's how many. Like it will show you all of them.
Right.
And a good chunk of them do have 2024, but probably
And
the cheaper
some
ones
don't.
won't.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so for example, your 2024 points, maybe all of them are available, maybe only part of them are available. And then next year, you can start getting all the points. And there are also some real good gems where they have 2023 points that were banked
that you can move
that
forward.
you could use in 2024. So they call them double points.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, but that contract, I'm assuming, again, I'm not an agent, that contract might be more expensive, because you're getting extra points. So, there is some fluidity there.
But that's what's really, really great about like the brokerages that do specialize in that and that can give you advice, because we're not giving you advice. But
your agent's
you
gonna
can
help
talk
you.
to them. So like DVC resale experts, for example, they have all of their listings to where you can like you don't even have to call them if you don't want to. You can just look at the listings and see what it is.
You can instant chat with them.
Yeah, you can send them a message, give them a call, and they're also really, really helpful with trying to figure out which resort is best for you, because so many of those people either worked at Disney for like 20 years or they I think almost every single person that I've talked to that's even in the resale industry owns DVC. And so they'll be able to tell you, okay, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. And then, oh, I think this would fit for your home resort, but you can always go over to Animal Kingdom, you know? So I think it's really good. Like me, I don't like to talk to people if I don't have to. I'm like, I just want to buy it online. Please drop my food off at my door and please don't talk to me. But like this, you know, it's a big commitment. It's a real estate transaction, but they'll be able to tell you like
Adam and Lori they are both former DVC employees. So they know all the nooks and crannies. They can answer all the questions. They'll be able to explain the difference between direct and resale, you know, and they're going to navigate you and help you find the right contract for your family.
And they'll be really straight up about it. That's 100%. One thing that I found like really refreshing. Kind of the same thing as like regular real estate. Like there are some real estate brokers where you're just like, I feel like you're not listening to me. You're just waiting for me to sign a paper. And then others where it's like, okay, you don't want this house. I know you now and you don't want that. So it's like, there are people you can go to dinner with or people you can chat with. And like we'll quit like petting their backs. But it would be good. Like if you're really not sure and if you're 100% new, either find somebody that's in DVC or talk to, you know, the brokers to be able to give, because it's not like this brokerage only has listings at Riviera, so they're going to push it. They have hundreds of listings everywhere. So they will, and they've been to every single one of these places. So they'll be able to tell you. So whether you watch a bunch of vlogs or you talk to a bunch of people, just help before you make that leap, figure out what works. And the best way to figure out is by talking to people. That's the best way I've been able to navigate it at all, because it's really difficult, you know, just when you're Googling stuff, you can't, like, I'm reading the explanation, but I'm like, I still don't get it. You know, it's like, I feel like I asked you what 2 + 2 is, and then you started doing trigonometry, and I'm just not there yet. I need very base level. Like, what is a point? What does that mean? So yeah, you know, it's up to you if you want to do direct or resale. You know, again, if you want those specific perks, or if you want to do like the stack thing where you buy 175 direct and then the rest you get resale. But when it comes to financing, so let's talk about financing.
Sure.
Do you know anything about DVC financing?
I know a little bit about it.
Okay, yeah.
I've only done thousands and thousands of loans.
Okay, so, you know, like until we get a real expert in, we'll just talk to you. So one thing that you guys do, or that we do, is like approve every DVC loan.
Yeah.
Now
so
that is on your website.
Unique.
Is it true?
It is 100% true. Okay. So all DVC loans are guaranteed approval. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah. Like,
you know, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of families, and they're like, oh, for XYZ reason, my credit isn't very good right now. And I'm like, guess what? You're still approved.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the difference? So with me, with Vacation Club Loans, this is our 2 programs. If you have a 650 FICO or better, then we consider that good. You know, that's our A credit. We have 2 different banks that we work with. And if you have A credit, then you put 10% down and you can finance 90%. If you are under that 650 magic threshold, then your down payment is 15%.
Okay.
And you can finance 85.
Yeah.
There you go.
And really, if you're like, how much money does that actually mean? Can you say a number? I wish we could. Hold on. I'll click a link and I'll look at some random things. Like some of them could be
like let's say
5,000.
Yeah,
some of them could be
just for easy math. If it's a $10,000 contract, you can either put 1,000 down if you have good credit, or you put 1,500 down if you don't have that strong of a credit. And on our website, with this is a super shocker, we actually have a no credit check option.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, you're in the middle of doing some financial personal changes and you don't want your credit checked. No problem. We consider that, you know, B, because we don't know. You know, you could say it's great, but I can't verify that. So my bank is like, okay, we're going to call that a 0 because we don't know. We just consider it a 0. It's blank. And it's like, okay, so you put 15% down and we're going to lend you 85%. So they're all guaranteed approval.
And with like if you're trying to budget it out and calculate it so you can understand what you're looking for, you've got a calculator on there too. So you'll be able to put like kind of what's your credit, what are you feeling? And if you're like, what I was doing while I was kind of researching stuff is I was looking at DVC resale experts and I was looking at some of the listings that they had on there. I'm like, okay, well, this is 20,000 or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me put it into here. And if I'm this and I want that, then you can get a look at your monthly payment, just like a mortgage calculator for a house. But
Super
it's like,
easy to use.
And then that way you're not going in completely blind. And I would even suggest like using the calculator while looking at listings, kind of like what I was doing. And then you kind of have an idea and be like, okay, well, when I'm looking at the whole number on this listing, it feels totally different than another $900 a month, like that kind of thing. So it would behoove you to use a calculator if you're going to finance. If you're going to pay cash, pay cash.
Well, another great thing, with us and our calculator, the financing doesn't change based on the property you want to buy. So it's not.
Oh, cool.
Financing, like it's not more expensive to borrow, at Animal Kingdom as it is Riviera. We're strictly credit score driven. That's all it is. I mean, that's really, we're a lender and we're going to lend you money and it's all based on credit. Even if your credit's 0, you still get the loan, and we're not going to penalize you, for any property. And we're not going to penalize you because you want to take the 10-year term, which is super nice because what most of my buyers do, they're like, you know what, give me the smallest payment. I don't charge extra interest if you take 10-year term.
Okay.
Give me the 10-year term. Excuse me. And I'm going to pay it off in 5 years. That's what most people do.
Yeah, and there's no penalty for paying it off early.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, so what we do is we waive the loan origination fee. We don't charge any upfront fee. So we do ask our buyers, please keep the loan for 90 days, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a lot of work. We make a lot of effort. We work with the title companies behind the scenes. We're working on your behalf.
It is a real estate transaction.
Yeah. But we're not charging you anything for our service. We obviously, earn interest. So we do ask you to keep the loan for 3 months. After 3 months, 0 prepayment penalty. And obviously people don't really want to borrow money for 3 months.
Exactly.
Oh, give me a 1-week loan. That's not
Thanks,
really,
girl.
what it's for.
Yeah.
I just need it for 48 hours,
Well, and I know that like if you're watching this at any other time besides middle of the year of 2024, it's probably going to be a vastly different answer. But as of right now, in terms of interest rates, what would be the range? Because we know depending on credit, everything else, like what's generally the range of that?
So the floor, our best rate right now is 11.9.
Okay.
So that is for excellent credit. And our 0 credit score highest rate is 17.9.
Oh, that sounds...
So, and our rates are going to stay the same. We don't anticipate changing.
I didn't know the answer to that. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I bet it's like a 25% interest rate or something crazy. So
no.
I was like, if it's bad, we'll cut it.
No. Unfortunately, and I'm going to be completely transparent because I always am. We unfortunately just had to raise our rates because the feds... They're not budging. They're not going down. And we were super lucky last year. We had locked in our rates with our bank. But now that money has ran out. So now we have to go and get new money. And now we're paying today's rate, which is really high. Prime is at 8.5.
Yeah.
And I know that there's people out there that are thinking 17.9 is astronomical. And I am not going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
It is. And I don't want to charge that much. We just got to that level. We're not going to go higher. But we can't go lower until the feds start lowering the rates. And it's not because we want to charge that much. It's because we're borrowing the money from the bank. And that's what our rates went up. So we're just kind of stuck. I mean, I don't know how to combat that until literally they change it.
Well, and I bought a house in 2021. Yeah, 2021 and 2.5%. Rate.
Isn't that crazy?
And my brother bought a house in 2023, 8.5. No, 6.5.
Right.
And him and his wife have way better credit than me. So that's like,
it's a lot.
Like they're like actual real adults that have planned financially and they're really, really good. I am not. I'm a literal child. And so my, bad credit, 2.5 like was high. They were like, hey, it's 2.5. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay. And then now I'm hearing, I have other friends and family buying houses, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like that. So I think it's
Right.
hitting everywhere. So it's
It
not
is.
like,
It really, I mean, I'm paying in the sevens. I think my car
really?
is 7.65. And I have outstanding credit. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way the world is right now. And I know that, it's like,
could you refinance? Let's say, you can do that with a house where let's say I get DVC with you. My rate is, let's call it 11 because I have good credit in this fantasy. But then kind of rates go down. Can you refinance Disney? Is that a thing you can do to get a better interest rate or no?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great question. So we're able to refinance. Let's say somebody bought a Disney Direct and they financed, and we offer refinancing. So our flat rate to refi is 13.9. We offer a flat rate, 13.9. You do have to have good credit to refi. Okay, we don't do no credit check refis. So with the 650 magic number, let's say you were paying 17.9 for your DVC loan. We'll refinance it at 13.9. I mean, you could literally
refinance from Disney Direct. You won't refinance a loan that you awarded because it probably won't change the percentage that much.
I don't know if. Well, I'm not saying that we wouldn't. I've never been asked to do that, but that's because we're in a situation where rates are kind of going up.
Yeah.
Maybe
if it does fall within 10 years, like if I can fix my credit and the rate falls, and if it's worth it, because it's definitely worth it for a house when you're spending like $400,000.
I would 100% do it.
Yeah.
Like, let's say someone. I'm just spitballing because we've never had that question.
Yeah,
but
I just bought it.
I'm always a problem solver, and if my customer comes to me and they're like, "Look, here's my problem," I'm gonna try to figure it out. Make a Herculean effort.
I grew up, my credit's better, and the interest rates are lower. Can I refinance?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love them. Absolutely.
Awesome.
If someone
That's good to know.
had, 2 years from now, it's like, okay, I did the no credit check.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years. My credit has gone up. I've solved whatever pickle I was in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I'm in the 700s and I want to refinance my vacation club loans with you, vacation club loans. Absolutely. I would do it.
Awesome.
Sure. Why
That's
not?
good to know. I'm going to add that to the blog now. So, okay, now that we've talked about what it is, where to buy, how to get the moolah, let's talk about best home resorts. And like we were saying, there's 18 total, 14 legacy. We're not, we've already been chatting you up for about 40 minutes. We're not going to push it any longer. We are, but I'm not going to go through all of them. But we had a few that we did save and I think are kind of cool to talk about because it kind of hits every point. So of these 4 that we're going to discuss, these are all 4 of these are the legacy resorts. We touched on Riviera, which is fantastic. If you get a Riviera, you're going to be living the high life. It's going to be great. But these are 4 legacy ones that even if you don't buy at one of these 4, you'll be able to go visit those. So the number one, well, not number one spot, but the first one is Saratoga Springs. And we have Saratoga Springs as best value. It's kind of a big perk for that. It's also really close to Disney Springs. So if you're somebody like me that loves to just not deal with parks, but still be Disney and walk around with a drink and have cool dinner, Disney Springs is probably one of my favorite places on Disney property.
Yeah.
And so I'm somebody that likes the value and Disney Springs, so this might be really good for me. I would say while it's close to Disney Springs, it is a little bit further from the parks, but you can still get there with buses. It's not an old resort, but it's one of the older ones that's more spread out. So it's not like there's one lobby and then you go to your room and come back to the lobby. It's bigger. You're probably going to drive to your building.
Yeah, I believe that Saratoga is the largest of the DVC properties. It's really big. And because it's the largest, there's more resale contracts. They tend to be available just because there's more
and
owners
the availability,
and
like a pro is that if you do own there, you can still stay at the other legacy places. But your availability, if you're a last minute reserver, you're going to have a higher chance of having a place to stay there.
I've never not been able to stay at Saratoga.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I'm just saying me personally.
Liar.
I'm a last minute booker.
Yeah.
I've always been able to stay at Saratoga. Always.
And I would say, in terms of cons, with it being further away from the the actual parks, there's no like dedicated monorail or Skyliner, but you can still take the buses. You can take the buses everywhere. They run until like 11:30 midnight. But you can take the boats to Disney Springs, and that's really fun and cute. So you can take like a little boat to Disney Springs. But also the theming, you know, you and I, we love a strong theme in a resort. This is definitely a themed resort because it's Disney, but it's themed after Saratoga Springs, New York. Not sure if you got that. And it's very like equestrian, horse races, and spas. So if you love spas and, you know, horse races and stuff, this might be right up your alley. But for me personally, I like that it's close to Disney Springs, but I really like something themed like the Polynesian and something that's closer together. So it all depends on what you're looking at. But Saratoga Springs will be best value. Yeah, I would say. Beach Club Villas, we have this one as like our best park location, which could be contended, I know. But because you have Bay Lake Tower, which is within walking distance to Magic Kingdom. But I'm going to call Beach Club Villas best park location because that was the shortest walk and the only resort where we actually walked to the park. Because everything else is like, you can walk. And I'm like, I'm not walking all the way that way. That's insane. But we took maybe a 10-minute walk and we were in the Paris Pavilion at Epcot.
Yes, it was
and
excellent.
It's right near the Skyliner, so you can also just walk up to the Skyliner and go to Hollywood Studios. Yeah, or any of those other resorts that are on that chain, and hopefully they add more. But I would say Beach Club, fantastic park location, fantastic pool.
Yes.
That's a huge thing. People love the pool at Beach Club. And if you're a big Epcot person, Epcot or Hollywood Studios, this might be the one for you, I would say. Every time we've gone to Epcot, we've stayed at Beach Club because it's right there. We don't have to stumble our way to a bus or anything. And but also, you know, con for some, it's further away from Magic Kingdom and further away from Animal Kingdom. So you'd have to take a bus to get to either of those. Right. So... Or you could take the monorail if you want to walk into Epcot, through it out the front, get on the monorail, or you can just take the bus. So again, but Beach Club has fantastic theming. It's very like New England beach house on steroids. It's very, the pool is fantastic. It's a sand, like beach bottom pool. There's a lot going on. There's a slide. There's a lazy river. There's, you know, so if you're somebody I want a nice themed resort that I could go to the parks, but I just want to sit by the pool and maybe float around the lazy river, Beach Club. Yeah. 100%.
Love it.
And Debbie's least favorite is Animal Kingdom Lodge. And for this one, I didn't know what to say it was best for because it's just, I couldn't not mention it. So I put in here best for adventurers.
Best for Debbie.
Yeah, best
it really
for Debbie.
Is my number one favorite. She's kidding.
Yeah. And so... It's such a unique resort that you can't not mention it in any list of things you should consider because it's near Animal Kingdom. If you love Animal Kingdom, it's near that. Still a bus ride, but closer because Animal Kingdom tends to be over there compared to everything else. But the number one biggest thing is the savannas. So there's 200 animals. We still didn't verify, but there's either 4 or 6 savannas or 5, I don't know. 200 animals, 30 different species. The food is fantastic, but it's all themed, heavy theme after like cultural art and animals from Africa. So if you're somebody that loves animals and loves to lay back, it's very soft, relaxing lighting. You can go to Animal Kingdom, which is your favorite park, right? Animal Kingdom. Yeah. So
that's my favorite park.
Yeah. So then I would definitely suggest Animal Kingdom Lodge. What is a pro for Debbie might be a con for me because I like to go into Epcot or Hollywood Studios. So I want something that's closer. Otherwise, you'll have to take. Right. It's kind of a longer bus ride, longer waits, but
it's still free transportation.
Yeah, so it's all free. There's never like, oh, I can't get there. Like you can, but if you're somebody that wants to just hop into places, Animal Kingdom might not be the one, but you'll be spending a lot of time at that resort because of all the animals and the food and everything. Anything to add about your favorite resort?
I'm sorry.
Anything to add about your favorite resort?
I love everything about the resort.
One thing that I did see in research is for like another con, if you're looking for a classic themed Disney vacation, this might not be the resort only because it's an Animal Kingdom African themed thing. So if you're, looking for something that's more along the lines of
Mickey Mouse themed,
like Mickey Mouse, like the first 5 or whatever. And Mickey's all over the place. And it's very, if you love Lion King, Animal Kingdom. And then our 4th one, which remember there's like 14, but don't worry, we've done room tours. We've like done individual episodes about all of these different resorts. And one day we'll have an episode on every single resort that you can listen to. But our last resort for today is Disney's Vero Beach, which is located in Vero Beach, Florida. This one, I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. Before we went, I'm like, why would anybody stay there? Why would anybody buy there? I don't understand. And then we went there, and it's not only, I love a beach vacation. If you've ever been on a Florida beach vacation in a place like Daytona, New Smyrna, Destin, Panama City,
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, let's just name all of the beaches.
It's the entire coastline.
Yeah. Tampa, no. But if you've gone and you're like from out of town and you go to a hotel, there's always that like, ooh, I hope where we're staying. Like Florida beach towns have, like, some of them have started to deteriorate in a way that makes me sad. And so you're like, oh, I hope where we're staying is like nice. And I hope it's nice and in a safe place to where like I don't have to like watch my kids and never blink. Yeah. So Vero Beach it's on the southeast coast of Florida. It's south of Melbourne.
Yeah, it's 2 hours from Orlando.
Yes, 2 hours from Walt Disney World. I think it's a little less than 2 hours, depending on traffic. Yeah, but could be way more. But
depending on traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Between like 2 and 18 hours. No, I'm just kidding. But Vero Beach is very, very calm. I had heard of it before. I know some people that had like little condos there. It's very calm. It's a small beach community. It's very clean. And the resort it's a Disney resort. There's not going to be trash literally anywhere. Like, it's very clean. There's a full restaurant, bar, quick service, just like little mini grocery store. Everything you would need is right there if you're someone that wants to stay at the resort and never leave, which is kind of me. Like, I want to forget my car exists until I go home. And I fell in love with it. I loved it. And where initially I was like, Disney out here makes no sense. In my mind, I was like, when you take Disney out of Walt Disney World or Disneyland, what is it? And what it is a fantastically clean, well planned out and executed resort that anybody can enjoy. Yeah. So if you are, I would suggest anybody go to it. But in terms of owning, and that's what we're talking about here, like where to own. If you're somebody, I think we met a couple in the bar that they were an older couple. They own at Vero. And they'll do like a week, just the two of them. And then they'll take the kids and the grandkids to Disney another week. So they love that because they want to book as like whatever week they want. They want the 11-month window, which is really big for the turtles. Like if you want to see the baby turtles go, that's a huge like booking time in the summer. They wanted to be able to do that, but then they meet the family in Walt Disney World. So like the kids are going to be like, this is just a beach hotel. We want to go see Mickey, which Mickey, I guess, sometimes is there. But like we want to go to the parks. We want to see the castle. And so they'll do that with their family. But really, they're like, we're a beach. We really love the beach.
Yeah, they want to do the Vero Beach.
Yeah, it works for some people.
It's a great resort. The rooms are huge.
Huge. They're big, like Old Key West. They're very big. And we had a lock-off when we went.
We did.
So we technically had a 2-bedroom.
We had 2.
Sort of. Yeah,
we did. And if you're a DVC member, owner, you get free putt-putt.
Yes.
At the property.
Yeah, and the putt-putt is so fun, except for hole number 7, which is really hard if you're Debbie. I actually did great. So
I would have won that game if it had not been for hole number 7.
I know. Yeah, you were really ahead. It was like 7 hits to get it through the cannon. But it's really fun, and it's all about, again, talk to somebody that knows, whether it's a broker, whether it's Debbie. One thing I know is she'll get a random call from somebody online, and I'll literally think that they knew each other for a long time. Because I was like, who was that? I don't know. Somebody, I think his name was Chris, and he called from Google. I'm like, okay, like whatever. So almost everybody in this industry, from what I've found as coming in as a new person, is willing to talk DVC with you. If there's one thing they want to talk about, it's what's your favorite resort? What's your favorite ride? Where do you like to go? What do you like to do? And they want to hear about it, and they want to help you find the right thing. So
yeah, it's like a DVC family.
Yeah, like not to sound like too lame or whatever, but it really is. Like they just want to, because anybody, you can't be in this industry and not like Disney, you know, and most of the people on, I think, like definitely DVC resale experts, and you never worked for Disney, but but you've spent a lot of time there and always vacation there. So you're kind of on that end of it, but they'll always talk Disney. They'll always help you figure out what works best for you. And I think it sounds like a lot, and it is kind of a lot, but once you have a couple good conversations, it becomes a lot more manageable to like figure out where to start. Like, where should I buy? What do I do? Yeah. And it's all up to you, like what you're looking for.
Yeah, but absolutely. If you talk to your resale agent, or you can call me. I mean, I, again, don't sell anything. You know, I'm just here to lend, but I would happily talk to somebody. I mean, I've have customers that are mine, and they'll call me because they're like, I need to bank or borrow or do this. Can you help me? And I'm like, absolutely. Because I own DVC. I'm familiar with the portal, you know, the owner's website, how to navigate and find, and, oh, what are my annual dues? How do I pay that? Yeah. You know, so it's like, oh, okay, well, if you opt in for auto pay, you can pay monthly with no interest. Oh, I didn't know that. You know, and it's a really good thing. Like, so if you have any questions, I mean, definitely reach out to the DVC community, you know, or somebody that owns, and we're always
there's a lot of
happy to
moving
help.
parts, but there are a lot of people that will help you through it. Like since I've started making content, I've joined like a lot of different Facebook groups or like Reddit things or message boards. And I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And they're like, oh, you should do this and this and that. I'm like, okay, cool. And they love to share their experiences, their tricks, their stuff. So definitely like reach out and just talk to somebody if you're really unsure. If you're not sure what to do.
And I'm learning all the time too. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like today I learned there's 18 resorts and not 17.
Yeah. I hope I'm right, but I'm pretty sure, 17. I think I listed them, but no, 18. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so and things are changing a lot too. Like I'll notice like, oh, it used to be this, but now it's this. Like especially with the restrictions and like new stuff going around. The new Poly Tower that's going to be opening in December is crazy exciting. So there's always a lot happening. And it might seem crazy, but there's always a lot of people that are willing to talk about it. So just reach out to somebody, and you can even look right now. We'll link it in here. If you're just curious, just look at prices of different stuff. We have links for the 4 resorts that we talked about. I'll just put a link to like their listing pages so you can see how much it costs.
Yeah, perfect.
And again, that's really hot market.
Yeah, we'll put the calculator on the very bottom in case they want to see and play around.
So you can see the calculator, see the price.
You just enter the purchase price and it'll tell you. Here's I'm not 1,000%, but I know exactly what it's going to do. It's going to do 5-year loan, 7-year loan, 10-year loan. But again, the interest is the same. So whatever you want.
And then just like kind of make the best monthly payment for you. Yeah. So it might seem crazy. It might seem overwhelming. If you have any questions, feel free to like comment, or you can email us, or I believe you can comment on this video. You can comment on the blog. You can send us an email, do whatever. And we'll just answer them. The next
instant chat. I love instant chat. Yeah. I don't know. It's so
we'll either
convenient.
reply to you and then if it's a good enough question, we'll talk about it in the next show because we're like, wow, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching or reading the blog if you're down there reading below. And we do a lot of other episodes too. So we'll do like deep dive, not super deep, but reviews on different resorts, what we thought, what we liked, what we didn't like. One thing is we're not going to blow smoke.
We just try to be
honest. We're like, hey, I couldn't fit into
like
the bathroom.
Opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
this is
your
us.
pro might be my con and vice versa. Yeah. But we certainly always do videos and photographs so people could see for themselves and, explore DVC. It's always, I love it.
Well, thanks so much for watching. Bye. And we'll see you next time. Bye.